is taken from St. Luke. While he was still speaking, a crowd came up, and the man who was called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus asked him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" When Jesus' followers saw what was going to happen, they said, "Lord, should we strike with our swords?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. But Jesus answered, "No more of this." And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priest, the officers of the temple guard, and the elders who had come for him, "Am I leading a rebellion that you have come with swords and clubs? Every day I was with you in the temple courts, and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour when darkness reigns." It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." When he had said this, he breathed his last. The centurion, seeing what had happened, praised God and said, "Surely this was a righteous man." Amen.
Welcome to Paisley Abbey on this Good Friday, for the last in our series of Holy Week meditations, but also the last of these recordings in the current series, because on Sunday, Easter Day, I'm glad to say that the Abbey will be open again for public worship, and our services will be held at the usual time of 10:30 and 12 midday. I don't know what you think, but I find it very easy to find that I get so caught up with the words and events and happenings of Holy Week that there's a real danger for a key detail to get overlooked. And it is that so much of what happens, particularly on this day, Good Friday as we call it, happens in darkness, when the sun refuses to shine. What's described in the story is so much more than, say, a particularly overcast day, the likes of which may happen just before a storm. And I've read that it couldn't be an eclipse because the Passover festival always takes place at the time of full moon. So what's being suggested here is something different, something supernatural. No light of the sun, or of the moon, or of the stars. Something, therefore, beyond our normal experience, and even beyond our understanding. You and I live in a culture where darkness is mostly to be feared. In darkness, it can be hard to find our way or to get our bearings. Things we can hear but not see can become frightening. Shadows can become magnified. And of course, darkness is most commonly associated with pain and depression, with an absence of light or joy, with blindness and death and chaos and a lack of order. And so it seems wholly appropriate for the gospel writers to engulf the suffering and the crucifixion of Jesus and those who stand and wait and watch and grieve in such an atmosphere of darkness, because it speaks to us of utter desolation and the death of all hope. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? One which speaks to many of the desperate situations in our world today, and also of living memory. Things like the Holocaust, the genocide in Rwanda and Srebrenica just 20 years ago, the terrorist attacks of 9/11 and 7/7, the Boxing Day tsunami, the conflicts that have taken place in Syria and the Ukraine, in Egypt and Sudan and Darfur, the disappearance of the Malaysian flight MN 370, and the plight of the families as they mourned, the Grenfell Tower fire, to mention just a few. For this is a week that can also remind us of our own personal griefs, our own dashed hopes and severed relationships and shattered dreams, and experience of abandonment and betrayal and bereavement and brokenness. But there's another side to this particular coin also. For darkness can also bring compassion and mercy. It can be a refuge, a shield, a kind of shroud, a place of safety, sparing us seeing things that we can't bear to see, such as when we've grown tired and weary, looking at too much pain and suffering. St. Luke tells us that when Jesus is arrested in Gethsemane, he declares to those about to put him to death, "This is your hour to act, when the power of darkness rules." But of course, then it was night. The darkness of crucifixion happens at noon, when Jesus has been hanging on the cross for 3 hours, and the sun should be at its height. We are told that it's a subdued and hushed scene. There is no dialogue. The two thieves have long since fallen silent, and the silence is only broken by stifled cries and moans and weeping, and Jesus' dying words. At the foot of the cross, the women stand together with the beloved disciple of Jesus. Surely the worst darkness is that which is faced alone. But they are there, supporting not just Jesus as he hangs dying on the cross, but also each other. Together they will keep watch. Together they will strive to bear his and their own and one another's pain. And so words are simply not needed, but their presence together is vital. Together they will find a way through this, and also whatever lies ahead.